just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna kick my feet up and stare at the fan. Turn the TV on, throw my hand in my pants. Nobody's gonna tell me I can't. Nah, I'll be lounging on the couch, just chilling in my Snuggie. Click to MTV so they can teach me how to Dougie. 'Cause in my castle I'm the freaking man. Oh yes, I said it, I said it, I said it 'cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything, nothing at all. Woohoo, woohoo, nothing at all. Woohoo, woohoo. Tomorrow I'll wake up, do some P90X, meet a really nice girl, have some really nice sex, and she's gonna scream out, "This is great."
Oh my god, this is great.
Yeah, I might mess around and get my college degree. I bet my old man will be so proud of me. But sorry, Pops, you'll just have to wait. Oh, yes, I said it, I said it, I said it 'cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. No, I ain't gonna comb my hair, 'cause I ain't going anywhere. No, 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 no. I'll just strut in my birthday suit and let everything hang loose. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything, nothing at all. Woohoo, woohoo, nothing at all. Woohoo, woohoo, nothing at all.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Oh, find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh, find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. You'll always have my shoulder when you cry. I'll never let go, never say goodbye. You know you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, May you have auspiciousness and causes of success. May you have the confidence to always do your best. May it take no effort in your being generous, sharing what you can, nothing more, nothing less. May you know the meaning of the word happiness. May you always lead from the beating in your chest. May you be treated like an esteemed guest. May you get to rest, may you catch your breath. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa, may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa, well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. You don't need money, got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. I want you to have it all. May you be as fascinating as a slap bracelet. May you keep the chaos and the clutter off your desk. May you have unquestionable health and less stress. Having no possessions, no immeasurable wealth. May you get a gold star on your next test. May your educated guesses always be correct. And may you win prizes shining like diamonds. May you really own it each moment to the next. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa, may the road less paved be the road that you follow. Whoa, well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. You don't need money, got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it all. All you can imagine. Oh, no matter what your path is, if you believe it, then anything can happen. Go, go, go. Raise your glasses. Go, go, go. You can have it all. I told you, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. You don't need money, got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we gonna have. Here's to you always making me laugh. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. We go hide away in daylight. We go undercover, wait out the sun. Got a secret side in plain sight. Where the streets are empty, that's where we run. Everyday people do everyday things, but I can't be one of them. I know you hear me now. We are a different kind. We can do anything. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be. Anybody's got the power. They don't see it 'cause they don't understand. Spinning round and round for hours.
Hi, I'm Paul Kim. I'm the Chief Technology Officer and Associate Dean at the Graduate School of Education at Stanford University. When I educate students, I would always emphasize the goal of knowing yourself and knowing others, and that would require a certain set of mindsets and attitudes. I call this global leaders who understand what the grand challenges may be for this world, and knowing the dire needs that others might have. Our programs are designed to address the challenges of today and also challenges of tomorrow. FlyingCape has a vast array of network with education leaders and education service in Singapore and in many other countries. The team focuses on understanding the learners and helping them find their best talent. And at the same time, help more students to become better and successful learners for life.
The world is rapidly advancing, and with its continuous development, technology has become an integral part of our lives. So I ask you, is your child prepared for a knowledge-based future? Well, Graphite Academy has got your back. Innovation, knowledge, and critical thinking is what our academy offers. Founded in 2016 to prepare students for a highly digitalized future, we have conducted programs in over 120 different schools and have taught more than 10,000 students to date. Our quality coding curriculum is designed to impart analytical and critical thinking. Its challenging nature aids students in thinking beyond the prescribed course, preparing them to solve complicated problems. This pedagogy-focused curriculum is delivered to our students with a handful of specialists in coding and passionate faculty. The strategy of small-sized classes adds to a conducive learning environment where students can polish their thinking skills. Progressive curriculum, active parent engagement, extensive exposure to multiple platforms ensures that your child is equipped with ample amount of skill that could be advantageous for them in the workplace tomorrow. Our rigorous teaching system ensures that our faculty is well trained to provide educational and enjoyable lessons. We hold the pride of yielding knowledgeable, creative, and critical minds. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with us.
Scientific literacy is vital to preparing the workforce of tomorrow to meet the ever-increasing demands for expertise in science and innovation. Science A to Z is an award-winning K-6 product that delivers thousands of high-quality, affordable resources for students and teachers. Students increase their scientific literacy while also developing key reading skills. This blended approach to science and reading instruction empowers teachers with the tools they need to teach both subjects at once. Science A to Z units provide breadth and depth of science content, plus countless opportunities for literacy practice, including writing, speaking, and listening. With digital e-resources that can also be printed and projected, teachers can customize instruction for one-to-one, small group, and whole class environments, fostering independent practice and peer collaboration. Many reading materials are available at multiple reading levels to support differentiated instruction. Units are organized into grade spans within each scientific domain, with dozens of resources offered in each unit. Multi-level nonfiction books provide an introduction to core science concepts and the specialized vocabulary of science. Each level of the book is accompanied by a corresponding quiz. Hands-on process activities engage students in science experiments and investigations. Investigation packs foster close reading as students demonstrate the 21st century skills of collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. While the high-interest focus books were designed with the next generation science standards in mind, including a book quiz and an open-ended challenge that engages students in key science and engineering practices. Each focus book and quiz for grades K through 4 are also available in Spanish for ELL and dual language learners. There's a collection of science videos with accompanying discussion questions, helping students learn about science content from a variety of media sources. Finally, with project-based learning packs, students participate in an open-ended, team-based science or engineering project. All Science A to Z resources are created to help students satisfy standards in both science and language arts. In addition, Science A to Z provides storylines designed to help teachers address all 3 dimensions of the next generation science standards within one coherent sequence of lessons. Science A to Z organizes teacher lesson plans along with a lesson-by-lesson sequence of resources to help explore disciplinary core ideas and cross-cutting concepts and engage in science and engineering practices for an integrated, three-dimensional learning experience. Individual lesson and storyline lesson plans are available in printable and digital formats. Using the Kids A to Z e-learning platform, students can improve their scientific literacy and reading skills anytime, anywhere. Students have access to their customized unit assignment, which is full of engaging interactive e-resources, as well as an independent science library, which fuels their natural curiosity about science topics. Students access their e-resources in an interactive, kid-friendly environment where they can listen to the content while viewing highlighted words and phrases, read the book at their own pace, record themselves reading aloud, use an assortment of interactive tools and features that promote close reading and critical thinking, and take a corresponding e-quiz to evaluate scientific and reading comprehension. Science A to Z also makes it easy for you to manage student online progress using the Kids A to Z portal. You can easily monitor each student's progress through the assigned unit, the number of resources read and viewed, quiz scores, and performance on reading comprehension skills. You can listen to the students' practice recordings and assess their constructed response quiz items. Every student is curious about the world around them. Science A to Z fosters that curiosity and helps you light the spark that can lead to a lifetime of learning about science. By getting kids excited about STEM subjects from an early age and by helping them develop the reading and science skills they'll need, you can prepare children for success in school and to fill important roles in the careers of tomorrow. Start using Science A to Z in your classroom today.
When curiosity takes hold and imagination takes over, where will you find your answers? What will you do when inspiration strikes? Coming close and listen closer. Go beyond the constructs of today and invent your own tomorrow. So, what will you create?
Today, coding is an essential skill we need to teach our children, just like math, science, or English. Getting kids to engage with coding is in everybody's interest. CodeMonkey, an award-winning online game, is the only platform that gets kids as young as 8 to write real code through a fun, engaging game.
זה משחק שממש מלמד ילדים בכיתה ב' וג' לכתוב קוד. זה דבר בלתי נתפס, אבל זה קורה, זה אמיתי.
CodeMonkey partnered with CET, Israel's largest publisher, to offer the CodeMonkey Coding Olympics, chosen by the Ministry of Education for a nationwide rollout.
1,700 schools participated daily for 3 months. CodeMonkey's special characteristics made it self-driven and easy for the schools to implement. The top-performing schools sent teams to train in a boot camp and then to compete in the finals mega event.
The results of the CodeMonkey Coding Olympics were beyond any expectations.
Last week, we completed 253,000 kids in Israel played CodeMonkey and learned code.
Thousands of children fell in love with coding, and a whole new coding movement was formed across the nation.
אני למדתי הרבה מאוד דברים חדשים, כי זה מלמד לתכנת ממש את הבסיס של הבסיס.
CodeMonkey is now expanding globally, applying the unique know-how demonstrated in the Olympics into further countries.
By introducing coding to your students, you would be opening up a new and exciting world of opportunities for them today, and there will be no limits to where they can be tomorrow.
כל שלב אני הצלחתי ויצא לי שמחה בלב. הייתי רוצה גם ששנה הבאה יהיה CodeMonkey.
CodeMonkey, write code, catch bananas, save the world.
Plus is a dynamic blended learning platform that combines teacher-led instruction, independent practice, formative assessment, and data-driven reporting to improve the reading skills of every student at every level. By providing high-quality instructional tools with high-interest leveled books in multiple formats, Raz Plus strengthens the connection between what is being taught and what students are practicing on their own. Teachers can easily assign digital resources to reinforce instruction that students can access online anytime, anywhere. Through our Kids A to Z e-learning portal, students can access content assigned by their teacher or read designated leveled books on their own using a computer or mobile device. Every leveled book on Raz Plus utilizes our best-in-class leveling system to ensure a developmentally appropriate reading experience for your students. All online reading activity and assessment results are tracked and reported back to the teacher through online, data-driven reports, making it easy to see what's working and inform future instruction. With Raz Plus, it's never been easier to combine effective whole class, small group, and one-to-one learning with engaging, developmentally appropriate reading practice. Teachers and students both have all the resources they need, all in one place. Great job this week! Your reading's really improved. Start your free 2-week trial today to see how Raz Plus takes students' reading to the next level.
Hi, I'm Paul Kim. I'm the Chief Technology Officer and Associate Dean at the Graduate School of Education at Stanford University. When I educate students, I would always emphasize the goal of knowing yourself and knowing others, and that would require a certain set of mindsets and attitudes. I call this global leaders who understand what the grand challenges may be for this world, and knowing the dire needs that others might have. Our programs are designed to address the challenges of today and also the challenges of tomorrow. FlyingCape has a vast array of network with education leaders and education service in Singapore and in many other countries. The team focuses on understanding the learners and helping them find their best talent, and at the same time help more students to become better and successful learners for life.
The world is rapidly advancing, and with its continuous development, technology has become an integral part of our lives. So I ask you, is your child prepared for a knowledge-based future? Well, Graphite Academy has got your back. Innovation, knowledge, and critical thinking is what our academy offers. Founded in 2016 to prepare students for a highly digitalized future, we have conducted programs in over 120 different schools and have taught more than 10,000 students to date. Our quality coding curriculum is designed to impart analytical and critical thinking. Its challenging nature aids students in thinking beyond the prescribed course, preparing them to solve complicated problems. This pedagogy-focused curriculum is delivered to our students with a handful of specialists in coding and passionate faculty. The strategy of small-sized classes adds to a conducive learning environment where students can polish their thinking skills. Progressive curriculum, active parent engagement, extensive exposure to multiple platforms ensures that your child is equipped with ample amount of skill that could be advantageous for them in the workplace tomorrow. Our rigorous teaching system ensures that our faculty is well trained to provide educational and enjoyable lessons. We hold the pride of yielding knowledgeable, creative, and critical minds. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with us.
All right, students, welcome back to day 3 of the Coding Olympics Singapore 2021. All right, welcome back, everyone. Now, before we begin, same thing as yesterday. So today is day 3, right? Share one thing you've learned from the last 2 days in the comments. So just a quick one. Share one thing you've learned from the last 2 days itself in the comments itself. So we know you learned something, you learned some skills along the way. All right. Hi, Fendi. Yeah. So I see some people say variables, very good. Now, yesterday we covered variables, a lot of variables. Some people said loops. Hi, Tony. People said loops. Wow, a lot of things, variables, loops. And today we're going to be moving on to a lot more other topics today. So what's going to happen is, before we begin, we're going to run through a couple of announcements before we start. All right, a couple of announcements to take note before we start the lesson. So hang on. Let me just add my slides. Okay, so same thing, just quick introduction on myself. My name is Mr. Jonathan. I've been teaching coding since 2016, taught a lot of schools in Singapore, and today I've taught over 8,000 hours of training, all right? So some of you may have seen me in school before, some may have not, so it really depends. Next thing to take note is there are 4 places where you can watch this live from. There are 4 places where you can watch this live from. The first place is the CodeMonkey Coding Olympics Facebook page. You can go and check them out, CodeMonkey Facebook page. The second is the Graphite Academy Facebook page. The third is the MangoSTEEMS YouTube page. And the fourth is Science Center Singapore YouTube page. So take note, you can watch all 4 on all 4 platforms, all right? So if Facebook is slow for you or YouTube is slow for you, jump around the platforms, make sure you're able to get all the information, all right? Next thing to take note, so just some announcements before we begin. Now, yesterday, students, some of you were still using the trial accounts. Please take note, do not use the trial accounts, all right? The trial accounts are there for you. It only lets you do until challenge 30. So make sure you refer to the email. Now, what email am I referring to? I'm referring to this email. All of you should have received an email that looks like this. Please use the login ID and the password provided in that email for your login to the CodeMonkey account. So take note, students, that is very important. Again, Science Center will be sending out one more reminder email to all of you with all the login details. So take note, all right? So Science Center will be sending one more email to all of you with the login details, okay? So take note, you got to use the login details from this email. Otherwise, you'll be on a trial account, and if it's a trial account, you will only be able to do up to challenge 30, all right? So take note on that. Now, next thing today is day 3. Day 3 got a little bit of changes. We're going to be covering challenges 50 to 70 today. So take note, again, we start at 3 p.m., so very important to take note, all right? Before I begin day 3, a few other announcements to take note. Yesterday, a student was asking, I think I mentioned we are going to teach you how to count angles using a little trick. So I'll teach you that trick in a bit. And let me see what else I need to cover. Yeah, so take note on. All right, so that's it. One more announcement before we start. This is quite important, so take note. The competition day itself, before we start day 3, take note on competition itself. Please take note, competition is on day 5, which is this coming Friday. So competition is on day 5, this coming Friday. This coming Friday, 3 p.m., the live stream will start. Competition will start promptly at 3:15. Now, how would the rundown be like? Very simple. At 3 p.m., all right, at 3 p.m., the live stream will start. When it starts, we will be sharing quite a bit of details with you. The CEO of Science Center, the Chief Executive of Science Center will be giving an opening speech as well. So you get some announcement, we'll cover some rules. At 3:15 p.m. sharp, the competition will start. Now take note, the competition challenges are slightly different from what you learn in Coding Adventure 1. I repeat again, the competition challenges are slightly different from what you learn in Coding Adventure 1. However, the concepts you learn and all the other information you learn are the same, all right? So take note on that. All right, students, if you're all clear on those information, send a yes to the comments so we know you're ready. So send a yes to the comments so you're ready, all right? So take note on that. I'm waiting for the yeses. Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm just same thing, going to go through the same rules as usual now. Same thing, you should be able to hear me at all times. If you can't hear me, please check your audio. All right. Next thing to take note, do your best to follow all instructions given by the instructor. Now, yesterday, I know some of you said I'm going too fast, but just take note, all right? We have how many students? We have about 800 to 1,000 students every day on this live itself. With all these students, we will need to be able to make sure we cover all the challenges so that by tomorrow, we will cover a quick recap. So any challenges that you're stuck with tomorrow, so listen closely, students, any challenges that you're stuck with tomorrow, any portions that you're stuck at, send them to the comments. We'll compile them together. We'll go through them in day 4. And if we have time tomorrow, we will be covering some of the skill mode as well. So take note on that, all right? So that's what's going to be happening. So very important to take note. Okay. Next thing to know is any questions, please ask in the chat room. Do your best to read all the instructions properly. This is a hands-on session. So again, you will be having practice time. Now, when it's practice time, please do your best to do the challenges. If you're stuck, again, send them to the comments. We will go through them accordingly, all right? So again, all challenges are allocated specific time slots for you to move accordingly, all right? So take note on that. Before I start, students, please make sure you're already in the CodeMonkey account. If you're in the CodeMonkey accounts, please go to Coding Adventure Part 1. And we'll start off from where you stopped yesterday, all right? So please go to Coding Adventure Part 1. So students, if you're already in CodeMonkey, you're already in Coding Adventure Part 1, please stand by, send a yes to the chat so I know I can begin, okay? So important, send a yes to the chat so I know I can begin, all right? So take note on all those things, okay? Kathleen says K, yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay. Looks like you're all ready to start. All right, now I'm going to change my screen. So once you see my CodeMonkey screen, you know we're going to be starting, all right? So let me just change my screen so you can see my CodeMonkey screen. Hang on. All right, students, welcome back to CodeMonkey Coding Olympics Singapore Day 3. Now, before I start, students, yesterday I promised to teach you a little trick on how to get angles. I'm going to be covering that trick today, all right? So one of the things on how to get angles, this is a math formula actually. So students, if you learn math in school, you should be able to do it, all right? So I'm just going to cover this very quickly before I go on to challenge 50 onwards, all right? So today we're going to be covering challenge 50 onwards, okay? So hang on, let me just go through this. Now, so students, if you notice, there is a little trick to this. Now, one of the things we learn in math, so important to take note. So students who are asking how to find angles, the angle of turning. So some of you are asking how to find the angle of turning. There are 2 ways you can do it. The first way is, if you notice, it's a polygon. When I drag it out, all right, so I can't do it here, but so let me change my calendar here. Hang on. So there are a couple of ways you can drag angles out. Now, the first way you can do is put it on your monkey and you'll notice the angle appears. So again, for those who are not sure how to find angles, drag the ruler to the monkey, pull it out, and then turn. You'll notice the angle will appear. So when you turn the ruler around, the angle will appear. And as it appears, you will get the angle. Now, that is one way to do it. The second way to do it is a little math formula that we learned. Now, what math formula am I referring to? So let me go to another challenge so you can see. So this formula only works for polygons, students. This formula only works for polygons, all right? So I'm going to be covering that in a bit. All right, so just take note. So this is the little trick. This formula only works for polygons. Now, or rather for regular polygons. So this is a little thing you learn in math. Now, regular polygons, what are regular polygons? Regular polygons are shapes that have the same length, same number of sides. So their sides have the same length. Now, as long as the sides have the same length, there's a little way we can find the exterior angle, all right, for my regular polygons. Now, how do we do that? Very simple. The formula looks like this: 360 degrees divided by number of sides. All right, so that's the formula. So the formula on finding angles, listen again, it only works for regular polygons, and regular polygons are shapes where the sides have the same length. All right, so regular polygons, so things like square, diamond, they have the same shape, right? So how do we do this? Same length, 360 degree divided by number of sides. Now, what does this mean? So if I have a 4-sided regular polygon, so important math concept, yeah? The 4-sided regular polygon, let's say it's a square. What's the turning angle? The turning angle is very simply 360 divided by 4 equals 90 degrees. So that is the turning angle or the exterior angle in itself, okay? So this is that itself. If I have a 5-sided figure, so 5-sided regular polygon, so what is that? A 5-sided regular polygon is, I think we call it a hexagon, right? Hexagon. And when we do that, it's 360 divided by 5, you'll get 72 degrees. All right, and if we go on to, let's say, octagon, so 8-sided, sorry, this is 5. So if you talk about 8-sided regular polygons, all right, this is your octagon. And in your octagon, the formula is the same. You divide by 8. This time, if you do it correctly, 360 divided by 8, you will get an answer of, I think, about 36 degrees. Is it? No, sorry. Hang on, let me get you all the math. 360 divided by 8, you'll be getting the answer, right? Yeah, you'll be getting 45. So 45 degrees. Sorry, my computer's lagging. Okay, and the last one, so let's say we're talking about 10-sided regular polygon. All right, and in this case, we call this a decagon. Decagon, same thing. The turning angle is 360 divided by 10. You'll be able to get 36 degrees. So students, that is how you find the turning angle of polygons. Very important to take note, all right? We call this exterior angles, all right? Very important to take note. So that's how the whole thing works. So this is a little something you learn in math. A lot of you should have learned this already in your math syllabus, in your math lessons at school. It's called regular polygons. And when you know how regular polygon works, you can find the exterior angle just by taking 360 divided by the number of sides. Okay? So now we're going to move on. Now we can finally move on to challenge 50 and or 51, because we did 50 yesterday, right? So challenge 51. Challenge 51. I see a lot of 49. Why so many 49? Xue Chen says 49. Xue Chen, 49 I covered yesterday in the live broadcast. You can refer to yesterday's live, okay? So let's look at 51 now. 51, on challenge 51, we learned a new concept, and this concept is called arrays. Now, what are arrays? So arrays are very simply, the easiest way to understand arrays is you think of the student name list, your student name list in your class. So what do I mean by the student name list? So in all your classes, you have a student name list, and in that name list, there usually is about 40 students, average about 40. Some of you have 38 students, some of you have 39 students. And in that name list, each of you are linked to a register number. Remember, you all have a register number, right? So students in school, you all have a register number. So example, you could be register number 23, you could be register number 16, a lot of registers number. So an array, always think of it as a student name list. Now, why do I say this? Because if today I'm the teacher in your class and I say, hey, I want all the students who are even number in the register name list to stand up, what happens is all the even number students in class who are register number, whose register number is even, right, will all stand up. Now, an array works the same way. An array is, think of it like a simple list. This list will give you all the different bananas. So in this challenge 51, you'll notice there are 2 bananas, which means in my array of bananas, I have 2 bananas in there. Make sense? So in my array of bananas, I have 2 bananas inside. So that's how array works. So think of it, always think of it like a student name list, okay? And for that to work, it's very simple. All you got to do is to make sure your monkey goes to the first banana and then go to the second banana. How do we do that? Very simple. So you got turn to banana, 0 step, distance. To remember yesterday, we learned about functions as well. So we learned about functions, right? And on object-oriented functions, we learn how to combine functions and objects together. In this particular case, we are combining distance to the specific end object, which is bananas 1. Okay? Which is bananas 1. So if you do it correctly, you run the program, right off the bat, your monkey will be able to get both bananas, okay? So right off the bat, your monkey will be able to get to both bananas. Very important to take note, yeah? Okay, so then we move on. Let's look at challenge 52. After we go to that portion, what will happen is we're going for practice time. We'll go for a quick practice time, okay? Yeah. So I'm going to repeat again. So on challenge 52, you will notice that it's the same thing. We're talking about arrays, but this time, what happens is we cover different functions from the previous lesson, which means last lesson we learned about say, right? Yesterday we learned about say, and we learned about say. Say means it will chase the rat away. So you notice right now the rats are moving the bananas around, right? The rats are moving the bananas around because they are moving the bananas around. The first thing we got to do is to chase the rats away. All right. So the first thing we got to do is to chase the rats away. To chase the rats away, we can say boo, we can say hello world. It doesn't matter what we say as long as we run the program. Now, once the rats run away, my monkey is not able to cross the bridge. So you notice it says step 10. It says step 10. Now, students, before I carry on, quick question for challenge 52. If you know the answer, send them into the comments, okay? Quick question for challenge 52. Why must I have this step 10 here? What is the purpose of this program? Why do we have step 10 in the code? So what is the purpose of step 10 in the code here? If you know the answer, send it to the comments, all right? So if you know the answer, send it to them. What is the purpose of having step 10 in our little fifth challenge 52 itself? Very good. Some students have the answer. The answer is to cross the bridge. Now, why do we need to cross the bridge? Because if we do not have step 10, what's going to happen is that wherever my rat goes, my monkey will move towards the banana, right? So wherever my rat brings the banana to, my monkey will follow that. So in the event my rat is at a funny position, without step 10, what happens is my monkey will collapse into. Okay, so that one he ran that way. Let's make it where the monkey kind of collapses into the river, all right? So hang on. Okay, so let's see whether he drops into it. So y'all notice without the step 10, he cannot cross the bridge. And because he can't cross the bridge, he won't be able to get to the banana. So what we do, so we just add back step 10. In fact, to be better, what I would do is I would go all the way across the bridge. So once you cross the bridge, right, you're safe. You can now turn your angles. You can run your function. So then I can turn to bananas 1, and I can step distance to bananas 1. All right. So take note, that is how you do 51 and 52. They're very simple, straightforward challenges. You should not have difficulty doing them. Remember, when we talk about arrays are like your student name list. So always think of it that arrays are like your class attendance list, your student name list. Once you know that, you list them down, you'll be able to get your, so example, this is the first banana 0 and then banana 1, all right? So that is how arrays work. Now what I'm gonna do next, student, in a very short while, you're gonna be doing challenges 51 all the way to 60. So we're going training 51 to 60. And during this period, if you are stuck on any challenges, if you have any challenge you're stuck on or you have difficulty with 51 to 60, take note, leave them in the comments. We'll address them once we come back from practice time, okay? So we're gonna go for a quick practice time. We're gonna go for a quick 10 minutes practice time for 51 to 60. So during this period, if you have any questions you would like to ask, please ask them in the comments. Any challenges you're stuck on, please put them in the comments and we will address them, all right? So we'll go for a quick 10 minutes practice time, be back by, now it's 3:20, be back by about 3:30, all right? At 3:30, we'll come back, we'll review 51 to 60. Once we review those challenges, we'll move on to challenge 60 onwards, okay? So I'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, students, welcome back from your practice time. Welcome back from your practice time. It seems like challenges 50 to 60 is not too difficult. Looks like most of you are able to do it. We'll be covering a couple of challenges. We'll be covering 54, 50, 57, 59, and 60. So we're covering these 4 challenges, 54, 57, 59, and 60. Now, before we cover those challenges, just to take note, I got feedback from some of you saying that you're not sure how the loops work. So I got feedback from some of you saying that you're having difficulty with the loops, right? You're having difficulty with the loops. So what I'm going to do is just in a short while, I'm going to be showing you how the loops work. Again, please take note, there are certain technicalities for the loops. Once that is done, we will cover 54, 57, 59, and 60. Okay, so 54, 57, 59, and 60. So just a quick one. I will go and I will share my screen now. All right, so we're back on CodeMonkey. Now, when we're on CodeMonkey, some of you have difficulties with loops. So I'll cover the loop portion again. All right, so I'll cover the loop portion again. So students, when you work with loops, it's very important for you to take note of the syntax required. Now, what is the syntax? It means how you type the code in. Now, what do I mean? A lot of you, when you do loops, you have this issue where you just copy and paste, and then it looks like that. It looks like that. Now, remember when we learned on day 1, when we covered day one, we covered loops. We remember I taught you what is inside the loop and outside the loop. So in order for this to work, what we are doing now is we need to make sure our code is within the loop. So how do we make it within the loop? We will use the function, we will use the button on your keyboard called tab, T-A-B. So take note on this. When you want to make sure the ellipses appear, use the tab button on your keyboard, T-A-B, yeah, T-A-B. So tab button on your keyboard. So once you do that, it will be within the loop. So students, take note, it will be within the loop, okay? So that is how loop works. Now, students, are you ready for me to go through challenge 54? If you're ready for me to go through challenge 54, please send a yes, so I know you're ready for me to go through challenge 54, okay? If you're ready for me to go through challenge 54, please send a yes, and we can start very soon. All right? 54, okay, 53. So 54 looks like this. A lot of you are stuck. Now, why are you stuck? Because a lot of times, students, you are not, most of you will use something like this. So let's do this. Most of you will do turn to bushes. So let's run the code. We run the program. Turn to bushes gets us nowhere, and then turn to banana, we drop into the river. Now, what do we do? How do we solve this problem? Very simple. You notice that there is a bush 0 here and a bush 1 here. So what we're going to do is, we are going to use the bushes as an anchor point. We're going to use the bushes as an anchor point, and because it's an anchor point, right away, instead of 0, I will change it to 1. I will change it to 1, and when we do it this way, you will notice now my monkey will be able to cross over all the little islands here, all the tiny swamps, and you'll be able to get to the banana. So that is challenge 54, students. So remember, just because you have a banana in the game or in the challenge doesn't mean you have to go direct to the banana. Sometimes you have to go around it, and for this to go around it, you have to use the bush as an anchor point. So that is challenge 54, students. That is challenge 54, all right? Next challenge I will cover is challenge 57, okay? The next challenge I will cover is challenge 57. So let's look at challenge 57. All right? I see a lot of requests for 58 as well. I'll cover 58 as well, okay? So 57, 58, 59, 60, all right? So this is challenge 57. Some of you are stuck on 57. Now, challenge 57 is slightly different. You'll notice that the beavers are all different steps away from the monkey, or rather from the island. So you notice the first one is 4, the next one is 8. So I'm just going to assume for this to move all the way here, it's about 12. You notice, students, it's about 12 steps, right? So all I got to do for the third line of code, I'll do beavers 2, step 12. And if we do it correctly, you notice, ta-da, my beavers now all line up accordingly, and my monkey can now cross the river successfully, all right? So it crosses the sea, so that is challenge 57, okay? So that is challenge 57. Now, next challenge to look at 58. We're going to look at 58. So in a while, we're going to look at 58. Well, very good. Some of you are able to get 3 stars for 50 to 60. Very good, because arrays are not too difficult. It's just making sure the right characters move at the right time, okay? So in this particular challenge, we have Beaver 0, step 5. Now, what is Beaver 0? Beaver 0, if you hover your mouse over the object, you'll notice that they are all labeled accordingly. So they're all labeled very nicely. So Beaver 0, step 5, these two are the same. So then my next code will be Beavers 1, step 5. And with that done, we will now be able to step to Banana 0, turn to Bananas 1, and what's the last code? The last code is step distance to Bananas 1. Now, why do we do this? Because just because our monkey stepped to Banana 0 doesn't mean he's gone to Bananas 1 yet. So take note on that. Once that is done, we run the code, and that is challenge 58, students. That is challenge 58. All right, that's challenge 58. So far that is 53, that's 54, 57, and 58. So now let's look at 59. So 59 is where you don't have an answer. 59 is one of those challenges where they're here to test your understanding of how the coding works. So in challenge 59, you notice there's no answer for you. There's no prompt for you. You have to do it by yourself. So the first thing you got to do is make sure the beavers move accordingly. So you see Beaver 0, I will do Beaver 0 step. Remember, if you are lost and not sure, you can always use the buttons below to help you. Now, how many steps are we looking at? We're looking at 4 steps. So Beavers step 4. Next one, Beavers 1 will step 4 as well. And if I do this correctly right away, my beaver will now form a pathway for my first monkey. You notice a pathway is formed, right? It's not very nice. I'm just going to adjust it to 5. It's not very nice. You want to make sure it lines up nicely. Yeah, so 5. So that's 5 steps, right? So after 5 steps, what happens next is now your monkey will have to go to the first banana. In this case, it's banana 0. So my code will be step distance to bananas 0. All right. So that's my first code, step distance to banana 0. And if I do it correctly, what happens is my monkey should be able to, okay, hang on, wrong code. Let me just change my code. If I do it correctly, my monkey will now be able to walk over to the banana. All right, so that is the 3 steps. So you notice right away we solved 3 problems. My monkey is now closer to the last banana. The final portion is simple. We do the same thing. We do the same thing, except this time, instead of Beavers 0 and Beavers 1, we are using Beavers 2 and Beavers 3. Are they also 5 steps? Let's see if they're 5 steps also. Okay, it's about 5 steps, so I just leave it at 5 steps. And finally, my monkey will step distance to banana 1. Before I can step the appropriate distance, I have to turn. So I will turn to bananas 1. And if we do it correctly now, right away, your monkey will be able to cross all the way and get all 2 bananas on the screen. All right. So that is how challenge 59 is done, students. That is challenge 59. Okay. Now let's move on to the next challenge. The last challenge for the series from challenge 50 to 60, right? So the last challenge here is challenge 60. Now the trick here is your beavers must move twice. Your beavers must move twice. For it to move twice, all right, for it to move twice, I will now measure the first step. So the first step, again, should be step 5. I will use Beavers 0, step 5. Beavers 1, step 5. Now, if I do it correctly, I press run. My beavers will now line up. After they have lined up, my next step is for my monkey to step distance to. So step distance to bananas 0. So step distance to banana 0. So if you do it correctly, your monkey will now cross on all the beaver. And then after my monkey has crossed to the first banana, the next step is turn to, there's another banana here. So now we turn to bananas 1. And then we got a step distance 2 again, right? Bananas 1. So you notice that's how it works. Now my monkey turns as well. So that is challenge 60. Now, we still have 2 more steps to do. Our beavers still have to cross to the other side of the river or the sea here, right? Once the beaver has crossed, my monkey still has to get to the last banana. So take note, the last banana in this sense will look something like this. So this time I will measure the distance from here all the way to the next island, about 10 steps. So I'll just do 10. So beaver 0, step 10. Beavers 1, step 10. And then my monkey will have to turn to the last banana, which is banana 2. And my monkey will have to step distance to, let me add my space, bananas 2. So this is what the code will look like for challenge 60. So challenge 60 is a very long code. It's 9 lines, but it's designed for you to understand how arrays work, okay? So challenge 60 is a very long code. It's designed for you to understand how arrays work, students. So that is challenge 50 to 60. Now from challenge 50 to 60, we have covered arrays. All right, so we've covered arrays. Now, before we move on to the next part of the training for today, students, are you having fun? If you're enjoying yourself, please send a yes. Send, I'm enjoying myself. Say how excited you are. Because once I know you're excited, once I know you're ready to go, so send a yes, show some smiley face, show some thumbs up. We will move on to 60 to 70, okay? So before we do that, we'll move on to, so send a yes, let us know how much you're enjoying yourself. Are you enjoying the training? If you're enjoying the training, send a yes. If you're enjoying the last CodeMonkey, send a yes. If you like CodeMonkey, say you love CodeMonkey. So a lot of different things you can do to show that you're enjoying yourself, okay? Yeah, very good. Yeah, you're having a lot of fun. That is great. So so students, if you're having fun and enjoying yourself, before we go to challenge 60, 70, we're going to go for a quick break. But before we go for that quick break for you to take a bio break, for you to drink some water, go to the washroom, before we do that, students, I'm going to share a little announcement with all of you. So I'm going to share a little announcement with all of you. Okay, so let me just share my screen. So before we go for a short break, I have a quick announcement for all of you. Okay, so quick announcement, yeah. So if you're having fun and you're enjoying class, students, what happens is we have a little announcement for all the participants of Coding Olympics. All right. So for all the participants of Coding Olympics, we have a quick announcement, and this is our announcement. All right. So if you can see on my screen, you'll see there's this thing that says Coding Adventure 1, Coding Adventure. Now, what is this? So what's going to happen is, if you like to further improve your skills, we have an upcoming 3-day workshop happening during the September school holidays. So take note, there's an upcoming 3-day workshop happening during the September holidays. Now, how is it going to run? Very simple. It's going to be running on 3rd to 5th September or 6th to 8th September, depending on the registration. Now, take note, the class only have 40 slots available. So we only have 40 slots available for the classes, all right? And take note, we will be going through a Coding Adventure 2. So students, let me repeat, we will be going through Coding Adventure 2. Now, what's going on so far is from day 1 until today, in fact, until tomorrow, we are going through Coding Adventure 1. What is Coding Adventure 2? Coding Adventure 2 is slightly more challenging. Coding Adventure 2 covers a lot of different concepts as well. Now, what concepts is Coding Adventure 2 covering? So the concepts Coding Adventure 2 covers are things like if-else, things like arrays, a lot of advanced concepts required for you to cover, things like functions, until. We even cover Boolean. So these are certain things we cover in Coding Adventure 2. So students, if you're interested, please take note that this training will be fully guided by an experienced instructor, and the courses are structured so that the coding concepts are explained clearly. So take note, students, we want to make sure the coding concepts are explained clearly. Why we say this? Yeah, so it will be, so take note on that, all right? So the original fee for this workshop is $429. Right now, because we are giving off a 30% off, it's only for $299. So take note, we have limited slots for this program, and Science Center will send you an email after the end of this program, all right, for you to get the details required to sign up for all these things, all right? So take note on that, okay? So this is what's happening during the September holiday, so take note. Science Center will be sending you more information on it, okay? So that is our quick announcement for upcoming program. All right, students, just take note. Some students have asked us what's the difference between signing for a license and signing for a workshop. Now, take note, from teaching CodeMonkey for the longest time, and from having conducted so many classes on coding in school, we realized that when we teach CodeMonkey in school, for especially students who practice the licenses, what happens is they are able to do the challenges, but they may not be able to understand the concept. So as you have seen, especially students who have been with us since day one until now, you notice that there are some challenges that are challenging and difficult, and you have a tough time going through them, which means if you're doing it alone, you may be able to solve them. But if I ask you, hey, what is the, how do you explain this concept? Or hey, can you explain to me how you solve it? You may have a tougher time doing that. So take note on that. That is why we have a class in September holidays. Okay, students? Now, what's going to happen, students, is that is the end of the quick announcement. We will be going for a short 10-minute break. Now, take note, this 10-minute break is for you to get some water, all right? Go to the washroom if you need to. If you can also practice your challenges. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to be covering challenge 60 all the way to 70 after we come back from the break. And during that period, we'll be covering this module called 4 loops. So we're covering 4 loops, okay? So take note on that. So we're going to be going for a quick 10 minutes break. We'll see you back at 3:55. All right, students? So I'll see you back at 3:55. All right, students, welcome back from your break. We hope you got to rest your eyes for that 10 minutes. All right, so you managed to get yourself away from the screen. I hope you drank some water as well before we carry on to the next step, all right? Now, what we're going to be covering in a short while is we'll be covering for loops, all right? So for loops is a very interesting concept that is covered not just in CodeMonkey, but in a lot of coding languages. So we're going to be covering for loops, all right? And once we cover for loops, I'll give you a quick, maybe 10 minutes to run through challenges 60 to 70. Today, we're covering 60 to 70. Once that is done, tomorrow we will then come back, we'll do a revision, and then we'll do 70 to 75, all right? So take note on that. So let me share my screen. Give me a while. And let's welcome challenge 61. So students, if you notice on my screen, you will see challenge 61. Now 61 is a very simple challenge because the answer is there, right? So my job is to teach you and explain to you how for loops work. Now, so far when we were doing CodeMonkey, we learned a few things. We learned about loops, and loops allow us to repeat codes. We learned about variables, and in variables, we learned that variables is a store of information, all right? Or variables are a store of information. And the information can later be changed or manipulated, right? So we learned that for variables itself. And then we learn about arrays. And all an array is, remember we learned, is they are a list of objects grouped together. So all an array is a list of objects, a list of code, a list of anything grouped together. And the easiest way to understand this is like your student name list, right? Just like your student name list, right? So that is what we have learned. Now, a for loop, so what is a for loop? A for loop is a special code. Now, why is it special? Because a for loop is a combination of loops. It's a combination of variables, and it's a combination of array. What do I mean? Let me show you, all right? So what do I mean? So a for loop is a combination of all three things. So the first thing you'll notice is the for above here represents a loop, right? So now the question is, what is it going to loop? So what is it going to loop? So what is the condition? Now, when we learn loops, remember we added 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, but this is different. Now it's for. So for represents a loop. So what is it going to loop? So this is where it will loop the variable b. So you notice that for b is actually a variable. Now the variable b represents, basically, we still don't know what the variable b represents yet. So take note, it will loop the variable b. Now, what does variable b represent? Let's look further. All right, so variable b represents all objects. Now, take note of this capital in the array. You notice for and in, so there are two things. So variable b represents all objects in the array. So variable b represents all objects in the array. All right, so take note. So you notice that's how for loops work, yeah? So for represents the loop. What is it going to loop? It's going to loop the variable b, which I created, the computer created, and the variable b represents all objects in the array. Now, what's the array? The final part of this is the array is grouped as bananas. So you notice that the array here is basically the bananas, right? So what happens is this means a for loop is simply means we are going to repeat every time there is a banana. So take note, a for loop means I will repeat the code every time there is a banana. So in this particular scenario, challenge 61, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 bananas. So which means the loop will repeat 6 times until there are no more bananas left. So let's give it a run. If we run it accordingly, all right, you will notice that's how for loops work. All right. So you run it accordingly, you notice, hey, now my monkey goes to all the bananas, all right? So now my monkey goes to all the bananas. So that is how it works. So take note, students, a for loop is just a loop that combines all 3 concepts together. It combines your loop concept, it combines your variable concept, and it combines your array concept. So 3 loops, so 3 things to cover, right? 3 modules to cover. Now, students, we are going to go for a quick practice time. During this practice time, please, any challenges, I already see some challenges. I see 63, I see 67, I see quite a number. So we're going to quick 10 minutes practice time. In this practice time, please run through challenges 61 all the way to 70. We run through 61 all the way to 70. And during that time, if you are stuck at any challenges, please let us know and we'll be glad to help you out, all right? So anytime you're stuck, please let us know. We'll be glad to help you out. So in the meantime, we're going to go for a quick 10-minute practice time. We'll come back and we'll run through the challenges together, all right? So in a while, come back in 10 minutes. All right, students, welcome back to the training, day 3 training. Students, take note, I got some feedback that some of you are still behind. Some of you are stuck on day 2's lessons. So if you're stuck on day 2's challenges now, day 1 we covered challenges 0 to 30. Day 2 we covered 31 to 50. Now, for those who are still stuck on day 2's modules, I'm so sorry, I won't be able to go through them today. What you can do is you can refer to the training video recorded for day 2, all right? And tomorrow, day 4, I'll be doing a recap on all the important challenges to cover. So take note. So tomorrow when we come back, I'll do a quick recap on the challenges that you want to cover, on the modules or the concepts that you have difficulty with. So take note, for day 4, we're going to do a recap. And when we have time, we'll do challenges 70 to 75. And also, we will be covering some skill mode if we have time. All right, students, so take note. That is how it will be working. Now, what's going on is I've noticed a lot of requests for certain challenges. So I will be covering challenges 63 all the way to 70. So that's like almost all the challenge, okay? So just hang in there. We'll be covering 63, 64, 65, all the way to challenge 70. I'm just going to add my CodeMonkey screen in a bit. So you'll notice this is challenge 63. Now, for those who are stuck on challenge 63, you will notice that it says 4B in bananas. Now, again, when we look at for loops, we run down the thought process. What is the thought process? So we are going to repeat, all right? So we are going to repeat. The for represents repeat. What does it repeat? So the for represents the loop, right? What is it going to loop? A loop. So it's going to loop the variable B, and it's going to do the, which is in the banana array, all right? Bananas represent the array, and that is the whole concept. So remember, we're going to be going through this. So remember that all for loops are just a combination of loops, variables, and array. For this particular challenge itself, please remember, students, when we work with loops, we have to use the TAB button, all right? So on your keyboard, you should have a TAB button. So on your keyboard, you should have TAB button. The TAB button allows you to tap, all right, to make sure it's within the loop. So for challenge 63, you notice I will tap. And once I tap, I will add in turtle turn to B. Why turtle turn to B? Because B is the variable in the array, and we want it to repeat as many times as possible. Now step distance to B. And if I do it correctly, I run the program, my monkey will now go and get all 4 bananas. Now, students, take note, when we work in arrays, and we work in for loops, as long as you have an array, it will go in chronological order. Now, what is chronological order? It means it will start from 0, and you go 1, it will go 2, it will go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way till the last banana, all right? So take note on that, and that was challenge 63, students. That is challenge 63. Now I'm going to go challenge 64. Highly requested for challenge 64. Challenge 64 looks like this, and oh no, my rat is moving my bananas again. So take note, students, on challenge 64, my rat is moving my bananas. We will now chase the rat away. Go away, rats. So let's run the program. So now I say, go away, rats. My rats run away. What do I do next? It's very simple. Remember, we are working with for loops. And a for loop is a loop to repeat everything within that array. In this particular scenario, we have 4 bananas in our array. We have 4 bananas in our array. So I'm going to move my mouse to press 4. And what is the name of the array? We'll just call it B. And the array, we'll call it bananas. And see, so it's the same thing, 4B in bananas. So that is 64. And once that is done, very simple, my monkey will have to, remember we learned all this yesterday when we do functions, turn to B, step distance to B. And then right away, my monkey will be able to get to all 4 bananas, all right? So all 4 bananas. So that is challenge 64, students. That is challenge 64, okay? Now, students, if you are stuck at any challenge, remember, after today's live broadcast, there is a replay that you can watch. Feel free to check the replay out on the 4 platforms, on the CodeMonkey Facebook page, on the Graphite Academy Facebook page, on the Science Center Facebook page, or on the MangoSTEEMS Facebook, the YouTube page. So take note on that, okay? So there are 4 platforms you can watch or the replay on, all right? Now we're going to do challenge 65. 65 looks like this. The first thing we do is actually the same. So remember just now when I asked you a question, what was step 10 for? The first thing we got to do is to make sure our monkey crosses the bridge. So he has to cross the bridge, all right? So the monkey has to cross the bridge. So I will step. How many steps will I move? Step. Oops, my ruler ran away. Step. Let's go step 10. So my monkey will step 10. Why do I want my monkey to step 10? Because I want him to cross the bridge. Once he crosses the bridge, he will now be able to get to all the bananas. So the same thing I'll do next is I will do for, same thing, name the variable B. The arrays will be using bananas. If you're not sure where, you can press the bananas and then select bananas. And then the code will be turn to B, step distance to B. And if you do it correctly, you will notice the monkey is now crossing the river and he walks to all 4 bananas. So that's challenge 65. Okay, next thing I'll cover is challenge 66. So students, again, please take note, we have 900 students on the live stream. I may not be able to get to all of you. So if you're stuck, please refer to the replay to help you along, all right? So the concepts are pretty much the same. So now let's look at x equals to 10. Now what is this? Challenge 66. What is x equals to 10? For t in turtles, t step x, we don't know how this works. Let's run the code first, all right? So let's run the code first. So by running the code, we'll notice that the variable x actually represents the number of steps the turtle needs to walk. So now I will take a note here. My note will say x is the variable and it represents the number of steps for who? For the turtle. So for that to be done on challenge 66, I will now need to measure my turtle and the distance he will walk all the way so he's in front of the monkey. So notice about 20 steps. So with that done, I will just do x is equals to 20. And right now, all my turtles should line up in front of my monkey, okay? All my turtles should line up in front of my monkey, all right? So once my turtles have lined up in front of my monkey, what's going to happen is now my monkey can cross using the turtle. So now my monkey can cross using the turtles. The last one, students, remember, loops have a indent. They have these 4 ellipses in front. So because now I want to exit the loop, I will do backspace so there's no more tap. It doesn't tap in, right? So I exited the loop and all I will do is step distance to banana. Remember, students, we learned about inside loop and outside loop on day 1. We learned about inside loop and outside loop on day 1. For challenge 66, we are making sure step distance to banana is outside the loop. With that done, I press run. You will notice now my turtles will all move over and then my monkey can cross the river, all right? You notice now my turtles will all move over and now my monkey can cross the river. That will be challenge 66. Now, students, take note, I'm just going to do a quick replay on this challenge where I add the step distance to banana inside the loop. So let's see what happens when we add the step distance to banana inside the loop, okay? And if that is done, you'll see what happens. My turtle will step 20, my monkey will cross, and he will drop into the sea, all right? My monkey will cross and he will drop into the sea. So that's how it works, students. So that's why we have to make sure the last code is outside the loop. And because it's outside the loop, we will now be able to get 3 stars, student. All right? We'll now be able to get 3 stars. Okay? So that is how challenge 66 works. So that is it. And then we'll cross. My monkey goes to the banana. So 66. Let's move on to 67, students. Challenge 67 is now tricky. Oh, this is tricky. Why is it tricky? Because now there's so many objects around. What are the objects? So let's identify the objects, okay? What are the objects? We have raft. This is called a raft. So we have a raft, we have islands, and we have bananas, and we also have the monkey. So we have 4 objects on the screen, or rather 4 groups of objects. We have islands, We have bananas, we have monkey, and we have the rough. Now let's think, how do we do this? For B in bananas turn to rough, what does that do? Let's see. Run the code. You'll notice that my monkey will turn to rough. He turns to the rough. After he turns to the rough, he will have to step. Where does he step to? He has to go to the rough, right? To step distance to rough. So let's look at it. So that is done. So if you look at 67, you notice for B in bananas turn to rough, step distance to rough. So right away by doing that, I will be on the rough. All right. And when I'm on the rough, the next thing is, how do I get my monkey to the remaining bananas? Isn't that interesting? So what do? I turn to B and I step distance to B. And let's see whether it works. All right. So you notice right now my monkey does that. And then he goes back to the rough. And then he goes to the next banana. He goes back to the rough. He goes to the next banana. He goes back to the rough. And same thing, the last banana, he will now go back to the rough. Now, why is it done this way, students? Take note. Why is it done this way? Because the rough acts as an anchor point, students. On challenge 67, the rough acts as an anchor point, all right? So on challenge 67, the rough acts as an anchor point. Because it acts as an anchor point, your monkey will walk backwards and then go accordingly, all right? So that is how it works, okay? So that is challenge 67. All right. Again, students, if you're a little bit behind, just take note. Please refer to the recording. If you can't refer to the recording, please drop us a comment. We'll do our best to solve them for you as well. All right. So let's go on to challenge 68. Challenge 68 is tricky now. Those who did for B in bananas, and then you do something like this. So some of you may have done this. You say step, you say turn to B, step distance to B. You'll notice that your monkey will drop into the river. Right, your monkey drops into the sea. So take note on that, students. For B in bananas doesn't work. Now, if B in bananas doesn't work, how do we solve this? Very simple. Same thing. Let's look at what are the group of objects available. So the group of objects available in this challenge is bananas, islands. We have islands. So if you hover your mouse over, you see islands, and we have the monkey. So there are three objects here. So the trick to challenge 68. The trick to challenge 68 is, here's the trick, students. The trick is, instead of using for B in bananas, we'll now do for I in islands. Now, why I just named it I because islands start with I. All right. So for I in islands, turn to I, step distance to I. And if I do it correctly, now my monkey will walk every single island. Can you see that? Once I do it correctly, my monkey walk every single island to get to all the bananas. So students, just because it's the bananas doesn't mean you have to walk directly to the banana. Remember, you can use other objects as anchor point, as seen in challenge 66, where we had the raft, as seen on challenge 68, when we have the island, okay? So take note on that. So now, so that is challenge 68, students. Let's go on to challenge 69, okay? Let's go on to challenge 69. Challenge 69 is tricky because it says for T in turtle step 0, T step 10. Now, what is this? We don't know what this is, so let's just run the code first. So every time you're lost, you're not sure how it works, run the program first, so you know what to do. So now we ran the program, we understand a few things. We understand first, T step 10 is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because my turtle needs to move 20 steps. Is it 20 steps? Let's look at the ruler. My turtle needs to move 20 steps. So now I will change my T step 20. And my monkey will have to be on the turtle, right? So you notice, students, the monkey is positioned in a way where it's about 7 steps away from the next turtle. It's about 7 steps away from the next turtle. And every single time, you notice every single time, it's 7 steps away from the turtle, 7 steps away from the turtle, all right? So what happens is I will do step 7 on challenge 69, and let's run the code. You notice now my monkey will land on the turtle, and it crosses, and now he crosses again. So students, for those who have difficulty understanding challenge 69, take note there are 3 turtles, and because there are 3 turtles, all right, because there are 3 turtles, all right, the monkey will now let you cross. Now, student, that is 1 star. Oh no, Why do we have 1 star? So let's replay and see what happens. So students, for those who've done this, that is 1 star. Let's see what is the solution for 3 stars. Now the solution for 3 stars, instead of step 7, we now use steps distance to t. Why t? Because the monkey will have to walk to each group of turtles one by one. So if you look at my answer on the screen, you'll notice that the monkey will have to walk to each turtle one by one. Because of that, all right, we will have to, for t in turtle, step distance to t, and then t step 20. And if I do it correctly right now, my monkey will cross on the turtle, and he will cross all the way down. All right, so take note, that is challenge 69. Now, students, I see some of you are still on 68, some of you are still on 66. I'm so sorry, I can't cover them. I have to move on. Please refer to the recording. Tomorrow as well, we will be covering important challenges that you're stuck on, challenges that have critical concepts. So tomorrow, we'll be going through those as well. We will cover challenges 70 to 75 as well. And if we have time, we will cover skill mode tomorrow, all right? So that is challenge 69, students. Next thing, last one, challenge 70. So this is the last challenge for today. So here's the last challenge for today, challenge 70. Now, challenge 70 is tricky because it says 4B in banana turtle step 8. Now, what is the difference here? You'll notice right away the steps for the bananas are different. The steps for the bananas are different. Oh dear, so what do we do? What's the difference here? What do we do? So yes, just now on 69, we learned about step distance to T. Are we able to step distance to B? Let's look at it. So let's see whether it works. So right away, you notice that my monkey is not able to go to the first banana. Now, he just needs to return to the back distance. Now, you notice that the distance from the banana, from the monkey to the banana, and from the banana back to the turtle, they are the same steps. Because they are the same steps, I can do a code like this: step distance to negative B. Now, if I do it correctly, watch. Whoops. Sorry, he has to walk back first. So that's my fault. So step negative distance to B. All right, so take note. If I run it correctly, you notice my monkey will cross, my monkey will come back. Okay, hang on. So if I do it correctly, you notice now I will step for B in banana, so I will change. So you notice what happens is I have to make a new variable. Why? Because now I can't do negative variable. So I will name the new variable. Maybe I'll name it, I don't know, I'll name it distance. Okay, let's name it distance. So it's easier for you. Step distance to banana. It shouldn't be this, it should be distance to. So the variable now is distance to banana. So I will step. Hang on, let me just refresh my screen. So challenge 70 is tricky. So take note, students, challenge 70 is tricky. The trick behind this is you got to make a variable to link it to the distance. All right, so I'll name it to distance to banana. All right, and then I will step distance to banana. So you notice distance to banana is a variable, and I'll step negative distance to banana. All right, so it is a variable, and if you do it accordingly, you'll notice now my monkey can move forward, my monkey can move backwards. So students, take note, when we work with functions, important concept to cover, when we work with functions, you cannot negative a function, but you can negative a variable. So take note, students, you cannot negative a function, but you can negative a variable. For that to work, I will have to make a variable, all right? So for that to work, I have to make a variable for this to work. So students, another way you can do this is instead of such a long variable, you can do x is now equals distance to B, step x, step minus x. And remember, because I can negative a variable, I can step backwards. So that is how it works. So student, important concept on challenge 70, you are unable to negative a function. You cannot negative a variable that's plugged in the array, which comes from the for loop, but you can negative a variable you create. So in this particular challenge, I will have made a variable called x. X equals distance to B. And by having the variable represent a function, I can now do negative backwards. So I'm going to run the challenge again. You'll notice now I can move backwards. All right. So that is challenge 70. Students take note, challenge 70 is tricky. We will cover challenge 70 again tomorrow in the recap. The idea is you need to understand for challenges like this, you cannot negative a function. You must create a variable to hold the function so that you can negative backwards. All right, students? So take note on that, okay? So I'm going to repeat, you cannot negative a function because a function is not a number. All right, students? A function is not a number. A function is a function. It's a code. So you can't negative no number. That's how it works. All right? So the trick here is, take note, I'll write it down in the comments. You cannot negative a function, but you can negative a variable. And that is how challenge 70 is done. All right, students? So we've come to the last challenge for today, students. Take note. We've come to the last challenge for today. Remember, challenge 70 is tricky. For those who are still stuck, you've done 60 to 70, please go back and practice the challenges as much as you can. Take note, students, that you can access your CodeMonkey accounts up to National Day. So you can access your CodeMonkey accounts up to National Day, which means you can practice the CodeMonkey accounts during the long weekend and even after the competition as well. Okay, students? So take note, you can practice the challenges even after the competition. Very important to take note. All right. Now, students, we'll cover 70 to 75 tomorrow. Please come back at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And before we go, remember, just quick announcement again. Some of you have asked where do we sign up for the holiday program upcoming in September. So I'm just going to flash the screen in a short while. All right. So take note, the holiday program is happening from the 3rd to 5th September or 6th to 8th September. Now, remember, we only have about 40 slots per session. If you'd like to come and learn how Coding Adventure 2 works, where we cover things like functions, Boolean, until, if else concept, please come for the class. You can register via the information on the screen. Students, take note as well. Science Center will be sending out email to all participants with regards to this upcoming workshop. All right. I will see you all, students, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Tomorrow, we will cover challenge 70 to 75. We'll be doing recap, and we will also be going through skill mode. All right. So this is what you will be experiencing tomorrow. So tomorrow we start at 3 p.m. sharp. Same thing, students. The live will start at 2:30. We'll come on at 3 p.m. At 3 p.m., the class will start. We'll go through announcements, and then we'll start our training. So students, I will see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Hope you all have a nice day. And if you're stuck on challenges, please go and practice them. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop in the comments, and we will answer your questions accordingly. I'll see you all tomorrow, students. Take care. Bye-bye.
The world is rapidly advancing, and with its continuous development, technology has become an integral part of our lives. So I ask you, is your child prepared for a knowledge-based future? Well, Graphite Academy has got your back. Innovation, knowledge, and critical thinking is what our academy offers. Founded in 2016 to prepare students for a highly digitalized future, we have conducted programs in over 120 different schools and have taught more than 10,000 students to date. Our quality coding curriculum is designed to impart analytical and critical thinking. Its challenging nature aids students in thinking beyond the prescribed course, preparing them to solve complicated problems. This pedagogy-focused curriculum is delivered to our students with a handful of specialists in coding and passionate faculty. The strategy of small-sized classes adds to a conducive learning environment where students can polish their thinking skills. Progressive curriculum, active parent engagement, extensive exposure to multiple platforms ensures that your child is equipped with ample amount of skill that could be advantageous for them in the workplace tomorrow. Our rigorous teaching system ensures that our faculty is well trained to provide educational and enjoyable lessons. We hold the pride of yielding knowledgeable, creative, and critical minds. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with us.
Hi, I'm Paul Kim. I'm the Chief Technology Officer and Associate Dean at the Graduate School of Education at Stanford University. When I educate students, I would always emphasize the goal of knowing yourself and knowing others, and that would require a certain set of mindsets and attitudes. I call this global leaders who understand what the grand challenges may be for this world, and knowing the dire needs that others might have. Our programs are designed to address the challenges of today and also the challenges of tomorrow. FlyingCape has a vast array of network with education leaders and education service in Singapore and in many other countries. The team focuses on understanding the learners and helping them find their best talent, and at the same time help more students to become better and successful learners for life.
Computer programming is quickly becoming a basic skill our kids need to learn in order to thrive in today's economy. CodeMonkey teaches programming in a way that's effective and fun. Kids are excited about advancing from stage to stage, and they love the cute characters, great graphics, and engaging challenges. CodeMonkey teaches kids a real coding language from day one as opposed to blocks. Kids as young as third graders are writing real code intuitively and easily. This way, when they later learn languages like Java, the transition is really smooth. CodeMonkey was designed for teachers to use in a classroom environment. The platform includes an easy-to-use dashboard that lets you follow students' progress, tools for grading, and detailed lesson plans. We also have a training program and ongoing support for teachers. Reactions to CodeMonkey have been amazing. We love hearing from excited kids and teachers who are seeing their students learn advanced coding and enjoying every minute. Want to bring CodeMonkey to your school? We'd love to hear from you. Go to playcodemonkey.com and drop us a line. CodeMonkey. Write code, catch bananas, save the world.
Plus is a dynamic blended learning platform that combines teacher-led instruction, independent practice, formative assessment, and data-driven reporting to improve the reading skills of every student at every level. By providing high-quality instructional tools with high-interest leveled books in multiple formats, Raz Plus strengthens the connection between what is being taught and what students are practicing on their own. Teachers can easily assign digital resources to reinforce instruction that students can access online anytime, anywhere. Through our Kids A to Z e-learning portal, students can access content assigned by their teacher or read designated leveled books on their own using a computer or mobile device. Every leveled book on Raz Plus utilizes our best-in-class leveling system to ensure a developmentally appropriate reading experience for your students. All online reading activity and assessment results are tracked and reported back to the teacher through online, data-driven reports, making it easy to see what's working and inform future instruction. With Raz Plus, it's never been easier to combine effective whole class, small group, and one-to-one learning with engaging, developmentally appropriate reading practice. Teachers and students both have all the resources they need, all in one place. Great job this week! Your reading's really improved. Start your free 2-week trial today to see how Raz Plus takes students' reading to the next level.